Welcome to my presentation on sensory integration. Within the body, we have our 5 main senses: taste, touch, smell, hear, and feel. But when we spend time looking at all of the body's senses in relation to sensory processing disorder or sensory challenges, we find a few more. This includes tactile, gustatory, auditory, vestibular, proprioceptive, olfactory, and visual. In regards to sensory challenges, the 3 most common challenges come from tactile perception, the vestibular system, and proprioception. First off is tactile perception. The human body has things called sensory receptors all over the skin, and this is responsible for transmitting information from the outside world to the skin, through the spinal cord, and to the brain. For sensory challenges, an individual can be under-responsive or over-responsive to sensory information. In the area related to tactile perception, an individual who is under-responsive to sensory information may want to touch everything, craves deep pressure, and has an intense impulsivity to touch and hold things. An individual who is over-responsive may act negatively towards touching, have an intense fight or flight response, and overreacts to different pressures and seems to feel overwhelmed by seams on clothing and objects that have different textures. Activities that may work well to stimulate the tactile sense is working with an individual's hands and a variety of different textures. This could range from finger painting to playing with plasticine or Play-Doh. Next, we have the vestibular system. This system is slightly more complicated than tactile. This is the system responsible for how our body gains information regarding balance and gravity. Within the ear is an area called the vestibule. There is something called semicircular canals which reside in this area, and these canals contain a fluid called endolymph. When the head changes positions, whether that be nodding up or down or side to side or in a rotational manner, the fluid travels through the canals corresponding with that specific plane of movement. The fluid then stimulates the depolarization of hair cells within the canals, leading to the stimulation of the vestibulocochlear nerve, eventually sending information to the brain. Similar to tactile perception, an individual can either be under-responsive or over-responsive to vestibular stimulation. If an individual is under-responsive, they may feel like they are never moving enough, and they may seek out moving in unusual ways, such as resisting gravity, climbing to greater heights, and craves the movement of rocking or swinging their body in various motions. An individual who is over-responsive may not like to be moved, run very fast, and dislikes very much vigorous movement because of the possibility that their balance will be thrown off. There are a variety of ways to stimulate the vestibular system. This could include using a sit and spin, or going on a merry-go-round or swing found at a park. For individuals who are over-responsive to vestibular stimulation, it is so important that they slowly integrate practices into their everyday lives. The last system we are going to speak about is the proprioceptive system. The system is responsible for muscle tension, pressure, and body space awareness. Within our muscles are things called proprioceptors, also known as muscle spindles, and they are covered in a sensory nerve that sends information from the central nervous system to the brain. These proprioceptors depolarize and send information when a tissue is stretched or associated with pressure or tension. As seen in this photo, sudden weight can cause muscle to extend, stretching the muscle spindles. When a muscle spindle triggers a reflex to maintain the tension of the muscle, this is caused by the depolarization of the proprioceptor. Similar to the last two, an individual can be over-responsive or under-responsive to proprioceptive stimulation. An individual who is under-responsive may be clumsy, they may trail their hands along their surroundings and be unaware of personal space. Individuals who are over-responsive may hold their body in odd, rigid ways and have difficulty manipulating objects. There are a variety of great ways to stimulate the proprioceptive system. This can include the use of bands to stretch and activate muscle spindles, as well as participating in yoga, which puts the body in different positions and allows for tension and pressure to occur in a controlled environment. Thank you for listening to my presentation on sensory integration. I hope you learned a little bit more than you did before, and I look forward to seeing you implement all of the new skills you've learned.